About a year ago, speedrunners started running Lethal Company. At first, it was how fast they could complete a quota, then another, and another. But that still wasn't enough. Solo players were looking for something unreachable, what they thought was unreachable. They wanted to test their skill and understanding of the game to see how far a solo player could go. On October 23rd, 2023, Lethal Company was released to Steam. On November 12th, 2023, speedrun.com added a page. On the page, there were only 3 categories: 1 quota, 3 quota, and 6 quota. In December of 2023, the world record times were 2 minutes, 14 minutes, 48 minutes. At that time, 10 quota was added to the leaderboard, and the first completed run was at a staggering time: 3 hours, 29 minutes, and 3 seconds. How did adding 4 more quotas add that much time to a run like this? And who was the first person to complete this run? And his name was... Oh!
Let's go!
At the start of Nitz's run, he picks the map Assurance, does the Assurance jump, and goes inside. Now, at that time, March was the moon that had the world record for Q1 solo. Nitz had a reason why he wanted to go to Assurance. Assurance had better consistency, saving him a lot of resets. A main reason why there was so much inconsistency was because every moon has a different size to it. The smallest being Assurance and Experimentation. And March has an interior size that is 2x the interior size of Assurance. Nitz had a simple strategy. He just wanted this as a proof of concept. He wanted clear weather and 400 per day. The goal for each quota was to just reach Titan if possible. Meaning if the weather wasn't good, he would either skip or go to a different moon entirely. In Lethal Company, you are given 3 days per quota. After quota 1, it raises every single time. To save some money, on quota 4, he decided not to oversell and go straight to Assurance.
So the question is, do I sell 300? No, I shouldn't. I'll just go to Assurance. Then I just have Titan to smooth it out.
The game only being out for a few months, it was hard to tell exactly what the limits were for a solo player.
Okay, Stormy, I definitely cannot do what I just did. March being flooded makes it so I can't really do it. I could go, yeah, I'm just gonna go Experimentation. I really do not want to die to a random lightning bolt at this point.
A partial reason why Nitz took so long in this first run was because one death would cause him to reset. So he took his time inside and outside transferring loot to make sure he can at least complete this run. Nitz had a few close calls, but the closest one was on Q10 right at the end.
I'm going to lose it. It's been like 5 days of non-stop grinding. Oh, 17 over, all that, and I only had 17 over.
Nitsboy's total collected scrap was 12,056, and the total quota was 11,129. This was a massive accomplishment. But to be honest about this run, it was kind of slow, and there were a lot of moments where he was either just standing still or counting loot. Surely somebody else could come by and knock off a little bit of time. Just 12 days later, we got an improvement of 36 minutes and 29 seconds. And you wouldn't believe who did that.
Welcome to your first day of the job. This is your very own.
Nitsboy came back not only to prove that he could do this run again, but he could do it faster than he did previously. What's different about this run is Nits spent more time on Quota 1 than he did previously, just so he could take everything that he collected and sell it for as much overtime as possible, so then he can keep going back to Titan over and over and over. He goes to Titan every single quota. Except for on Quota 10, he goes to Dine for 1 day. Why was Titan so strong? Well, that has to do with the loot pool you get from it. Titan has a lot of items that are very high value, ranging from low as 50 to 159. Nitsboy was not only playing really efficient, but he was also getting very unlucky. He kept seeing more and more interior manners. For Titan, there are two different types of interiors. This is for this type of version. There is facility, and then there's manor. Now, manor has a low percent chance of rolling, but Nits got it a lot. The reason why Mansion was so bad was because it was so unbelievably big and it was hard to find a lot of loot quickly. The main reason why he got it a lot was because he wasn't playing on version 40. He was playing on version 45, which makes things a lot harder. Not only are manor percentages higher, but the loot pool is worse. And he was on fire. On Quota 7, there was a really close call. Somehow, the bullet spread completely missed Nits, taking no damage. Once getting past that, he had a very stressful Q8, and you have to see it for yourself.
Me. Both versions.
This run not only showed that Nitz had the ability to survive, but had the ability to beat his old record on a harder version. The Lethal Company community now had the blueprints on how they could survive all the way up to Quota 10 solo, and it was a matter of time before somebody came along and beat this record.
It's only assurance.
Chlorophyte came through with a 14-minute and 7-second time improvement to the world record, making the world record to be 2 hours, 38 minutes, and 27 seconds. Chlorophyte brought to the table quick execution of looking inside, leaving early, and skipping a lot of days. Chlorophyte skipped 6 days on this run, making him have to stay on other days a little longer to get more loot. But on the days he stayed, he got a lot of scrap. On Q9, at the end of the run, Chlorophyte was forced to go inside due to his ship not having enough loot. It wasn't looking good for Chlorophyte. He needed 630 per day to complete this run.
After this quota, I'm going to be just under 1,000. I'm going to need to get the best Quota 10 there could be, or else I'm not making it. So this could be it.
Well, in his famous words, he needed the best Quota 10 to comp this.
It would be... What the hell? I'm going to save the Sab story for later. I mean, I do mean what I say there. I am very appreciative of everything that's happened here. But Jesus. Oh my god, it's happening!
And happen it did. Chloro left that day with 970 scrap.
Oh my god! Wait. Please.
The issue was, that day was so good, it gave him a chance to comp this run, but he still needed more scrap. And the odds of him getting a lot more scrap per day were astronomically low. And sometimes in Lethal Company, when your back is up against the wall, you run into a room like this.
Spoke too soon. Triple. Oh! I'm making so many noises I never thought I'd make. Game, I love you. Game, actually, I love you. After all I've done, this is the reward. I have actually just ascended into heaven right now. Let's go. Oh my god, it's finally over. It's finally done.
For every world record, there's always competition at the top. And for Chlorophyte's run, there was no exception. 5 days later, there was a new runner that had taken the world record from Chloro. And his name was... Distortion's strategy was a little different than the previous records. He decided that Quota 1 and Quota 2 he was going to go to Assurance, saving a little bit of time, not spending extra time on Q1 and Q2. After selling on Quota 2, Distortion decided to buy an extended ladder. A new strategy was developed through the community that if you took the extended ladder and dropped it on the second floor on Titan, it extended all the way to the ship, giving you an opportunity to not only be safer transporting loot, but it was a little bit faster than doing it previously. Distortion not only had new tech to work with, he also had quota rolls on his side. A quota roll can get very complicated really quick. The formula for it that the game outputs what your next quota is going to be is a little complicated. But here's the important graph that you need to see. Your quota roll is ranged from a 0.00 all the way up to 1. On this curve, on average, between minus 0.1 and 0.1, you have a 58.71% chance of landing in between that zone. On the outer zones, you have a 20.645% chance of landing either lower or higher on this graph. For the rest of this video, I'm going to be referring to quota rolls on a scale of 0 to 1. I'll relate what the average roll is, which is a 0.5. Distortion's quota 2 roll was 227. So that means to roll a 0.5, his next quota should have been a 352. But he rolled a 0.23, giving him a 318 quota roll. Distortion's Q4 roll was 532, and the average roll for Q5 would be 732. But he got... This was the first world record with a very low roll. Getting a low roll like this compounds over time. That means your quota 10 roll is going to be way less than normal. Distortion's Q8 was 1,588. So that means if he was to roll a 0.5, his Q9 should have been 2,088.
We have 2,000 left in the ship. Hey, Octomart. Octomart. I should have bought a jetpack. I guess we can buy it at the next company for the... 1881. Oh, that's actually so good.
Distortion 2 had 2 rolls that were under 0.1. With those rolls, he was about to set the world record on fire. At the end of quota 9, Distortion had 3,684 on the ship. If you minus Q9, which is 1,881, he would have 1,803 on the ship. Now, if you take what's left on ship and minus the predicted 0.5 roll for his Q10, which is 2,487, he would only have needed 684 scrap left. At the time he was at, that was going to be a very fast run. When you're this far in a run, all you can do is prage and hope that you get a good Q10 roll.
Oh no.
That 0.9 roll has got to hurt at the end of a 2-hour run, but Distortion wasn't phased. He looked at this as an opportunity to dig deep and complete this run.
What, 250? Nice. An item right here. Beautiful. GG. We've done it. 235.30.
It took only 2 days for Distortion 2's world record to be beaten by 5 minutes and 1 second. How was that even possible? Tipper leaned back on the old tried and true strategy of going to Assurance, Q1, and then Titan for the rest of them. Tipper's run up to this point was pretty average. He had terrible rolls of 0.55, 0.65, and then another 0.65. Up to this point, it wasn't really looking like a world record run until he got to Q5, and you have to see what he rolled. Tipper rolled a perfect 0. This roll alone changed his entire outcome for the whole run. Now with the pressure on, Tipper had to lock in. It seemed at first that Tipper wasn't going as fast as previous records. Every day on Titan, he was spending extra time looking for another handful of loot. If you compare Tipper COD splits to Distortion 2 splits, even up to Quota 8, Tipper is behind by Distortion by 12 minutes. And that's the thing about Tipper, is the splits don't tell you the whole story on how good he is at this game. The loot difference between Distortion and Tipper is that Tipper had 6,000 in the ship finishing Quota 8. He was able to skip Q9 and Q10 almost fully without getting any loot. That's why he beat Distortion. After this run was submitted, there was an uproar in the community. They were debating between version 40 and version 49, talking about the current version and the first version. Some people believed that they wanted to play on the harder version for more of a challenge. Others believed it was unfair to have them on the same leaderboard. Well, the community got their answer, and a lot of people didn't like it. Because the answer was, version 40 was the best version to run 10 quotas solo. And one person was out there to prove it. Tipper was unstoppable, breaking record after record after record, pushing this run down to 2 hours and 2 minutes. This world record was so significant because it had 3 reasons. Reason 1 was because he skipped 9 days. The reason why he was able to skip 9 days, because he got so much loot on the other days that he played. From Quota 2 onward, out of the 21 days he played, on average, he collected 510 scrap. Reason number 2 was because he got 2 unbelievably low quota rolls on Q6 and then Q7. And lastly, Tipper got the lowest Q10 roll that has ever existed in 10 quota history with a Q10 of 2,483. When Tipper completed this run, the community had a new goal: break sub 2. The only problem was the RNG for these type of runs was getting worse and worse. You needed the stars to align for you to get a run like this. You needed good quota rolls, you needed Titan RNG loot, You needed to be able to not only when you have a run like that, survive it to the end. Most of these top runners at the time had hundreds of resets just to get good enough RNG to comp the run. To get the sub 2, the community needed new strategies. So on April 27th, a new runner came along with new strategies to break the sub 2. Zafe brought new improvements to the table, showing us jetpack skip and drop tech. In version 40, jetpacks cost 700. After selling for Quota 2, instead of going back to Titan, you use that money to buy a jetpack. You then go to Assurance, skip the entire quota, sell again, and then go back to Titan. The advantage of using a jetpack skip is you can get to the front door way faster than the normal way of starting from the bottom and walking all the way to the top. Here in this example, you can see that it took Zabe 7 seconds to get inside. In comparison, it takes Tipper 29 seconds to get inside. Do that over the course of a full run, and that's minutes you're saving. Next, Zabe took full advantage of the new drop tech. This was discovered by dropping items from the top of Titan in a pixel perfect spot where items will go all the way to the bottom. As you can see in the example here, if you miss the drop, it'll land on the railing. If you do it right, it'll fall all the way down to the bottom. Zafe utilized this to his full advantage, dropping all of his items all the way to the bottom and then walking into the ship. That saves you a lot of time overall transporting loot. With these improvements, Zafe had the blueprint to get the sub 2. Now, all that was left was the game's RNG. After Quota 5, his Quota 6 roll was a 0.78. Then, rounding off the Q7, he got a 0.66. Lethal Company was not giving him a break. But when he pulled to Q8, his roll was a 0.2.
Ooh. Back under.
All that was left was good RNG on Titan loot, and then a better quota roll on Q9 and 10, and he could get the sub 2.
I did it! Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh shit. I was 142 over average and I clutched out the 1 minute record. What?
Zafe easily had the skill in this run to get a sub 2. The problem was he had so much time bleed on how bad his quota rolls were on Q6, 7, 9, and 10. Throughout the run, there were small time saves that he could have had where either if he didn't roll an Eclipse, if he didn't get a mansion, if he didn't get locked out at the fire exit on Q10, he would have got that loot and got out of there, or anything like that. He could have saved enough time and broke the sub 2 barrier. But that's okay. Runs like that happen all the time. Just shake it off, and then you can get that sub 2.
$259. Can't tell. No, wait, I got it, yes. I got it, yes, I thought I was short. Yes, man. Fucking go. Oh my god.
After non-stop grinding, Tipper came back to lower the world record by 2 minutes and 35 seconds. Let's break down this run and see how he accomplished sub 2-hour record. Tipper was utilizing the same tech as what Zafe was using. He was doing the jetpack skip, the drop tech, maybe he had better quota rolls. Nope, on Q5 he had a 0.98. And then from Q6 all the way up to Q10 it was average. So what was the difference here that made his run so much better than Zafe's? Well, up to this point, I haven't been talking about this because it's kind of a crazy rule. Bees were banned, and in some of the lower categories, like Quota 1, they were separated. Bees and non-bees. But after Zafe's run, there was a vote, and the vote passed. So bees were no longer banned in 10 quota. With this new ruling, it sparked an interest for the world record. Now that Zafe got a 201, it made it extremely vulnerable because bees sped up the run by several minutes. This also increased the resets because now, if you wanted a world record, you needed bees. So to start off the run, runners, instead of going to Assurance, went to Vow. Val had the highest percentage chance of getting bees, and it was the easiest because they would spawn right next to the ship. What runners did to check was they had the word scan copied. So then when they loaded into Val, they were spamming the scan. You will get an initial number of how many items are in the game, and then the bees will load in a few seconds later. If your items go up, you have bees. So now when you do jet skip, you go to Vow instead of Assurance, and you can get more bees as you're skipping that quota. This can greatly improve your run because previously Zafe would take 3 zeros when he would do a jet skip, but now you can get more loot as you're jet skipping. The world record now had the potential to go way lower just because bees were added into the mix, but this greatly increased the RNG for this type of run. You now needed good bee RNG, you needed good Titan RNG, and you needed good quota rolls to get a run that was good enough to be a world record. After the bee change, this greatly increased the amount of runners that were now trying to go for a world record. Speedrun Kitty had a normal start, getting bees on Q1, going to Titan on Q2, getting average loot, jet skipping on Q3, not getting any bees unfortunately, and now let's talk about the luck barrier that you have to cross, which is discount RNG. The discount percentage can vary, but the highest percent you can get off on an item inside the store is 80%. So after Speedrun Kitty got past Q3, they checked the store and the jet was on sale for 80% off. And then Speedrun Kitty rolled their Q5 quota roll.
Sub 700. Oh my god, what the fuck? Sorry, that quota's like insane.
Then goes on to get incredible amount of loot this quota, then finishes Q5 and rolls Q6's quota roll.
What? Excuse me? Hello?
On average, Q6 is 973, and Speedrun Kitty rolled 783. Getting a roll like that will make the rest of the rolls lower than average, meaning that you need less loot, meaning this run will be really fast.
Seems like one more decent day. I'm not sending an Eclipse. I need 496. I'm not sending an Eclipse day if I get it. I have to skip 2 days. I have to skip 2 days, keep in mind. So that's plus 2 minutes, and I have to sell. This is gonna be close to WR. Let's fucking go, man. That's not deserved in the slightest, but we take it. What the hell? That run was so lucky. Okay. GG.
Speedrun Kitty dropped the world record by 1 minute and 56 seconds, now making the barrier to entry for a world record run much more difficult. And 19 days later, Speedrun Kitty improves the world record time by 1 minute and 28 seconds. And just 1 day later, Tipper comes back with a 5-second time improvement. And then 14 days later, Speedrun Kitty drops the time by 42 seconds on June 8th, 2024. 2 months and 16 days later, a runner that has been doing thousands of runs in the background steps in to take the world record. Table Destroyer had a very stressful run. He needed 500 scrap to complete the run on the last day on Q10, and it was eclipsed. He only had 37 scrap left over, meaning on that last day, he almost didn't have enough to sell the last quota. Table Destroyer's run was a slightly optimized run. As you can see, the times were just improving by seconds now. It seemed like we were hitting a limit. Table Destroyer got good Titan RNG loot, he got good quota roll RNG, and then he got decent B RNG. Overall, he hit every barrier he needed to hit to get a world record. But what was the limit? Players could optimize their B RNG. That could take thousands and thousands of resets just to get the RNG you need to get the perfect Bs just to save a few more minutes.
All right. The day of resets begins. Just gonna start by rolling. Okay, rolling with what the game gives me. That was a low value though, so I'm pretty sure these are like 50s. Nope. Quota rolls were just too scuffed. Okay, 3 Bs. I'll take it. Hopefully there's multiply the ship and they're worth a lot. Yeah, no. I'll do another day.
Welcome to your first day on the job. This is your
Seaforth. Damn. Would have been a good day. God. Knock it off, bees! F off, game.
job. This is your very
This better be a good day, man. That's what we like to see. That's what all that practice has been for. And we might even... No. I don't know about that. And it would work out.
Chlorophyte comes back, does 40 resets, and gets a run like this.
And I'm just going to hope that I get good quota rolls. And maybe, if I'm really lucky, the game will give me an 80% jetpack sale, and then I just laugh. And then I don't have to jet skip, and that will eliminate a lot of RNG. And trusting in the process. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to trust in the process. And you should trust in the process, too. Bees. I have never seen a better luck than this. Like, I've never seen better luck than this. Wild. Especially considering we're getting so many bees. Yeah, it's good enough. Nice. Less than 5 minutes for a day like that. That's pretty good. And then from there, we'll see what happens. See, this is good. We're still getting over average. Yeah, I mean, duck. I'm sorry. Would have been 418 with the duck. Screw strategy. Full send luck. Either I get it or I don't. World record is luck anyway.
Chloro then completes quota 7 and gets his quota 8 roll.
Lock in. Good quota roll. Good quota roll. Come on, 1600. Let's go!
If you rolled average all the way up to quota 8, it would be a 1,725 Q8 roll.
Let's go! Let's go! 1 hour, 50 minutes, and 25 seconds. World record. And we didn't just beat it by 1 minute, we beat it by 4 almost.
The stars aligned on this run. Everything you would ever need from this speedrun happened. He got the bees, he got the Titan RNG, he got the quota roll, the jetpack RNG, he got everything. This run had finally hit the barrier, the 150 barrier. Could runners shave off 25 seconds to get the world's first sub 150? Or was this it? Was this the limit?
$1,061.
On this run, Zafe didn't have perfect B RNG, He had decent Titan RNG, and he didn't even get a jetpack sale. How close was Zayf to breaking the world record here?
I missed it, bro. Dude.
Zayf had gotten the world record by 4 seconds. Zayf felt the nerves because he was 21 seconds away from breaking the 150 barrier after 7,037 resets. He was 21 seconds off. The 150 barrier felt impossible just because you needed everything to line up, all the RNG, and then you had to complete the run in a quick enough time to break the 150 barrier. A short list of what you need to accomplish is BRNG, jetpack sale, Titan RNG, quota rolls. With most of these runs, they either start on Val or Assurance, get enough, go to Titan, then jetpack skip, and then Titan the rest. There's been an idea of skipping up to 3 quotas, then go to Titan for the rest. This idea was seen as a pipe dream and not realistic in a run, just because you're skipping up to 3 quotas, praying for a low quota roll, and hoping that you get good enough weather and Titan RNG to cover the rest of the quotas. On paper, it looks possible until you see you need 475 per day Q4 plus. Doing all that while being quick on Titan is a lot to ask for. You would need every single bit of scrap to be super convenient and easy to get every single day, and you would have to reach the 475 per day threshold. It just wasn't possible, and it would always gain time over losing time on the run. A day after Zayf's world record, Table Destroyer thought about doing that method of skipping 3 quotas and praying for good Titan RNG. This run started like any other run.
Welcome to your first day on the job. This is your very own auto
On the day that Chlorophyte got his 150, he attempted the strategy of going to Vow every single day for Q1, Q2, and Q3. But around at Q3, he couldn't find the bees and it was foggy, so he bailed on the idea. If you compare the 2 runs, Tables and Chloro's runs right here were nearly equal in the sense of it was just bad RNG. Chloro gave up because it was bad quota rolls and the lack of finding bees on Q3 made it difficult. But for some reason, Table Destroyer kept going. This run to be even sub 151, it would be a miracle.
140 stat.
In almost every community, when a barrier like this is broken, usually the runners go dormant. Not a lot of people run the category anymore, and people move on to a new category. Even though Table Destroyer's execution of this run was extremely impressive, it wasn't perfect RNG. So there was still room on the table for some sort of way to squeeze out time. For a runner to be able to do that, they would need to pull out the execution of what Table did and have all the RNG in their favor.
What is that? Excuse me? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Choco Muffin strung together the most impressive world record, but yet was so close to the world's first sub 140. Well, guess what? Choco Muffin didn't stop there.
It's enough. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. I have no words. I have no words. Oh my god.
And that's the history of 10 Quota Solo. Thanks for watching.